Good morning, everybody. Automotive Inc. Today, we're going to test some stuff on the truck real quick. So, if you haven't seen the recent video where I got the truck allegedly fixed at the dealership, my truck has learned a few new things. Now, I went to making the truck my daily driver, so it should have no reason why it wouldn't stay charged or whatever. But check out that other video because they replaced some sensors, thought it was fixed and everything. So a little chirp sound I have still there. Now, before we get started, please smash the subscribe button, helps the small channel out. And then at the end of the video, like and notification bell. So we're going to go out and test the battery. So within the first day of getting it back, a new trick that my truck has learned was to automatically fold the mirrors. Now I have that settings turned off so I can manually fold them with the button. And there is a feature where you can turn it on and actually have the mirrors fold every time you shut the truck off. Interesting enough, it just folds whatever mirror it wants to at the most random time. Driving, it'll fold the passenger side. Shut it off, come back an hour later, both mirrors are folded. So that's quite interesting. The other thing, the passive entry now unlocks itself again when walking away or walking up sometimes. So that's quite interesting. Drove the truck for a week while I was doing that. Didn't test the battery. Now, I went out of town for about a week and parked the truck. Within the first 24 hours of leaving the truck, it was driven the day before, alarm goes off. Able to reset it, unlock it, relock it from my phone app, and seemed to be okay. Next day, another alarm. Next day, another alarm. Next day, another alarm. Then no more alarms. So I'm assuming at that point that the battery has drained itself enough. So we're going to go out and test the battery real quick. It sat for a week. The mirrors were folded, and last night when I had to get something out of it, dome lights were no longer on. So my guess is the battery's pretty low. So let's go test that battery. It is the wee hours of the morning, so it's going to be a little dark out there, but let's just test it, and then we'll talk about some more stuff. So coming out, we're going to pop the hood real quick. Passive, the approach lighting does not work. Mirrors are folded. Passive entry does work. Didn't work last night, but worked this morning, which is odd because it wants to unlock itself. So we look in here, and as you can see, I have no dome lights, which is one of the problems that I went in for. Now, this typically will reset once I drive it, but the last time I took it in, it did not reset. So while we get my battery tester set up, guys, you might hear that chirp, so we'll see. Let's get the battery tester on here. Alright, so let's go in here. Battery test in vehicle. Regular. We'll just go regular today. I'm so tired. We got back late last night, and we need to get this back up to 750 cold cranking amps. Alright, so you didn't need to watch me do that. I just want to see where this is at, because usually when the battery's low is when it starts shutting down features. Stated charge, 30 freaking percent. Oh my God. So, yeah, 30%. So it doesn't get driven for a week, 30%. So the draw is there because there is no way. So let's get in and talk more. So the truck fired up, which has never been the concern. The truck is smart enough to retain the truck is set up to save the battery so it can always start. Now they said after 2 days of parking it before I went down and picked it up that the truck still started and the stated charge was 60%. I still think that's low after 2 days, saying that there's not a parasitic draw. And I could shut off the alarm again. Approach lighting doesn't work. Dome lights do turn on with a button now. We'll see the next time I restart it if it comes back on. But I'm freaking so fed up. I am so mad. Not at the dealer. Not necessarily at Ford, because I do like the truck in its entirety except for these issues. But this electric gremlin, so say it sat for another week or two, I don't think it would start. Now that's probably never going to come up because I do drive the truck often enough. But the fact that my features don't work, and like I said, going to the gym early or in the middle of the day, if I don't hear the doors unlock, which I can hear it pretty easily because it's a definitive unlock, my shit's gonna just be open to the public for whatever they want, and I don't really know how to rectify that. Coming out to your truck in the dark when there's no dome lights and you need to get something sucks. Luckily I keep a flashlight in here. But I don't think that that's how the engineers designed this truck to operate. And the fact that replacing the sensors didn't really seem to help. I didn't have any alarm triggers. It seems like when the battery gets lower, the alarm system starts getting funky. Just kind of doing whatever it wants. And so I'm kind of just fed up because I really do like my Fords, and people say, well, you just hate Fords and you love your Chevys, or you hate Chevys and you love Rams or whatever. But if I stay objective and just say what I like, what I dislike, I still get said that I'm a fanboy of one brand or the other. But this has to be something, and if you watch the newest video about the other new truck that I just drove, the other 25 Ford, it had a window issue, literally on the test drive. And there's an electrical concern. And so this is what bugs me about having so much. I like all the swag. I don't need it. I don't need a 360 camera, any of that stuff. But the fact that you pay for it because you may want it, obviously in the Lariat Ultimate, it came with it. I paid for it, obviously. I wanted those features. Then they just stopped working because of this battery. And the fact that they can't figure it out is so freaking frustrating that it just fires me up, because it's like taking it to the dealer constantly. Thank God they give me a loaner. But this thing can't sit for a day or two without all of a sudden doing its things. And like I said, literally the day after I picked this up, the mirrors fold. It starts unlocking itself. It locks itself without, any notice. I'll just be standing there getting stuff out. I'll hear the locks actuate. So I'm getting to the point where I'm fed up with it. I'm probably going to trade it. Believe it or not, I'm still looking at Fords just because, well, I do like them. I think this is not an isolated issue just to me. I think other people have this issue. Is it a mass majority issue? I don't know. But I think that there's enough people that are having this issue. I think it has to be an ultimate concern for anybody that's looking at a Ford, especially an up-trim one. The more swag, the more stuff that runs off of the one battery. This is why I urge people to look into, if they're special ordering any truck, get a dual battery setup in the gas. If you're getting a diesel, obviously you're going to have two batteries. You can upgrade the alternator. That's completely up to you. This alternator, I don't remember which one it is, does not charge the battery enough to get it past 60% once it drops below that, so I have to put it back on the charger. But keep in mind, the battery was completely charged allegedly when I brought it back. They got it down to 60 after 2 days, charged it full. I went and picked it up, and here we are again. So again, it's just a love-hate relationship, because I love my power, I love the comfort, I love the swag that it has. That pisses me off because it's freaking annoying to have your alarm go off at 3 in the freaking morning, or noon, or when you're completely out of the state and it's sitting in the driveway just going off because this thing is loud when it honks, and it's so freaking annoying. So whether it's going back to the dealer or I trade it, I don't know. At 8,200 miles, I have to say the Godzilla's done great. But this has been a constant nag on this truck, taking the luster of loving the truck completely off, and also bringing out the fact that Kong, the 24 Chevy Silverado HD gas, very basic, being a custom, no problems. No problems. So maybe going with a base XLT or an XL STX package eliminates that issue. I don't know. I'm just fed up. I wanted to do this video before I go to work, because I go to work fairly early. And without starting it, and hopefully the dome lights will come back on, but those were working fine while the doors were unlocking and the mirrors were folding on their own. So it's very frustrating. I do apologize for the poor lighting, guys, but it is early in the morning, and like I said, we already have a dome light issue. I had to actuate them with the button to even get the lighting that we currently have. Wanted to show you the battery draw after just 1 week of sitting there. But then again, I was driving it daily, and it was still doing this wonkiness. And without one day, the alarms then started acting up, and it was just an onslaught of alarms until the battery got low enough. And that is that. So, guys, I don't know. My biggest point to you is, if you want to buy a Ford, I wouldn't be afraid of buying a Ford. But if you go to the dealership to buy a Ford and it has issues while you're there, don't buy that one. Find another one. Have them locate another one, have them match the deal, test drive it, look it over. I had 2 or 3 24s I looked at that had mismatched headlights from the factory, mismatched this, problems with this, gauge is messed up. and quality control there is lacking. I still haven't heard back from the Ford task team or whatever about this issue, but maybe it's because I picked up the truck. But maybe if it goes back, I'll email them back and say, hey, I hadn't heard from them, and the issues are now just as fun and just as awesome. So as always, guys, appreciate you guys being here, and I'm gonna catch you on the next one.